Hi, welcome to Overthinking Entrepreneur. I'm Megan, and I've had a successful online business for a few years now, and I think I overthought probably about 90% of my decisions along the way. Honestly, I just overthought whether I should say 90% or pretty much every decision in this intro. So if you find that relatable, you are definitely in the right place. In this podcast, I will help you get out of overthinking and into action so that your online business can finally start growing. Hi, I have been spending this week building something that is going to really help you take your content to the next level. I am so excited. It has been so much fun for me to work on, and I'm so thrilled with how it's coming together. I have been sharing it with the people in my membership, having them test it out for me so that I can release it into the world. And I'm so excited, and because of that, all I feel like talking about right now is content. So for this episode, we are going to dive into some of kind of the misconceptions, things that I have heard people say over and over and over again when it comes to content. Whether we're talking about social media content, email content, a lot of these can even apply to things like blog posts, YouTube videos, podcasts. A lot of these are kind of universal things, no matter where the content is going, that I have seen over and over again keep people stuck. And I don't want you to stay stuck when it comes to your content, especially because so much of this is just mindset stuff that if we could just clear out and work through, everything could change for you. And that's what I want for you. So I won't leave you in suspense. I'll briefly tell you about what I built, and then we'll dive into the episode. I'm not trying to turn this into an advertisement, but I'm also really, really excited about what I have built. So if you don't know this, each month I write a fresh set of content prompts for the people in my Dynamite Squad membership. You can also buy these prompts separately. You can get them just on a PDF, and it has a prompt for each day of the month. And I've been doing this for over a year now. How long have I been doing this? It's not important. I've been doing this for a while for the people in my membership. And I've been trying to come up with ways, how can I really help take this to the next level and help it become more effective for people and something that's easier to utilize, because I'm not a big fan of something that comes on a PDF, just to be perfectly honest with you. And it's funny saying that because I sell things that come on a PDF, because when I've asked my audience, how do you want this? They most often say to me, I would just love a PDF I can print out. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll put in a PDF for you. But for myself, I've always kind of thought, like a PDF of content prompts, would I actually pull that out and use it? Maybe, maybe not. So I have been trying to figure out, how can I really take this further and help people create better content without just telling them what to do. And then, of course, ChatGPT came on the scene, and we've all seen that a lot of people are using it to write their content for them. And I get it. I get the temptation. Sometimes it's laziness or people feeling like, oh, this will make it easier and something that I don't have to do. Sometimes there's other reasons going on, which I'm actually going to touch on here in this episode. But in my opinion, most of the time, having ChatGPT write the actual content for you is not the right strategy and not very effective. Now, there's a lot of nuance there. Depends on your audience, depends on what you're writing. I think, like a set of rules or instructions, sure, ChatGPT can probably write that for you. Email that's supposed to be from your heart about why someone should join your program, I don't think ChatGPT should write that one for you. That's my thoughts. You can agree, disagree, wherever you're at there. But it's here and it's not going anywhere. And I have been seeing more and more people use it for their content. And just to be perfectly honest with you, I've been asking myself, do I want to still keep selling these content prompts? Because I feel like a lot of people are going to not want to spend money on just content prompts when they can go to ChatGPT. Now, is ChatGPT going to give you content prompts that are effective as mine? Probably not. It could. I'm not saying it can't, but it depends on what you're asking. If you go in there and say, give me content prompts for this month, they're probably going to be terrible because it doesn't know anything about your business. It doesn't know anything about what you're doing. Like, just remember that ChatGPT will give you what you're asking for, but you have to know what to ask for. You have to have that knowledge of giving it the right information to create what it is that you're looking for. So if you just go in there and say, hey, I sell skincare, can you give me some content prompts? It'll do it. Is that really going to move your business forward? Probably not, because it's just generic and just what they could find from anyone else. But anyway, it's been on my mind, right? We have to be realistic about, do people want to spend money on content prompts when they could go get it for free? I don't know, so I've been sort of just thinking, what can I do? How can I make these more effective? Is there something that I could do that could really help people take these prompts and apply them to their own business, because that's where people sometimes get hung up. And I've seen it time and time again, in Zoom calls of my membership, where people will say, well, I don't know how that would work for my business. And then other people are like, oh, this and this and this. And they're like, oh, I didn't, it's like we're all kind of too close to our own businesses. And oftentimes we'll say, well, I see how that could work for you, but I don't see how that's going to work for me. And just kind of getting stuck within that. And I've never wanted to be someone that writes someone else's content for them. It's just not really what I want to do. But I also have seen people have a content prompt and still feel stuck, or still not really understand how to apply it correctly to their own business. So what I have created is a custom GPT that you can load right into your chat GPT that I created, and it knows all of my September content prompts. And it also knows all of my guidelines and rules for setting up your posts to get more engagement. So those little things like, is there an engagement piece? How's the spacing? How's the flow? Is there a good hook? All of that kind of stuff I have taught to this GPT. So what it can do is you open it up, and it will ask you, what day are you working on a post for? So you say September 4th, whatever day you're working on a post for. It will say, okay, here's the prompt for today. Do you have an idea of how you want to apply that, or would you like me to help you brainstorm? And then it can help you brainstorm with the prompt specific ideas that are going to tie into you and your business. And it's not just going to say, what about this? What about that? It's going to say, do you have an experience? Has this happened? It's going to help to kind of trigger your own ideas, which is what I wanted, right? I didn't want it to just do it for you and give you a generic, not very good post, and then have you turn around and say, I think I'm doing this, and then not really get anywhere, right? So it's guiding you to, how do I take this prompt, apply it to my own business, find my own personal story or something from my life that's going to fit into this. And then it helps you with the structure of the post. It gives you a nice little outline if you want one. And then after you write the post yourself, what it will do is audit that post using my kind of rules and guidelines for setting yourself up to get engagement. And it will point out if, hey, you need to ask a question here. This probably isn't going to get a lot of engagement. Here's some suggestions. Or this should be separated. And it's just going to audit everything that you've written through my rules of engagement that I know are really hard to probably keep in your head, right? I know you've probably read through my free engagement guide or listened to me talk about it and said that all makes perfect sense. But when it comes time to actually write the post, remembering what all those different rules are, I know is not easy. So this can actually do it for you. So it'll help take you from prompt to finished post that is fully optimized to get the most engagement that you can, but you wrote it. It still came from you, and it still sounds like you, and it's still unique and personal. And I am so excited about this. So anyone who purchases my September content prompts this month is going to get this custom GPT included for free. I'm probably going to charge more for it in the future, but I'm too excited about it right now, and I just want to get it in your hands, and I just want you to start playing with it and see what it can do. So I am so excited about this. The link for more information will be in the show notes, or you can always feel free to reach out to me wherever you're connected with me, and I would love to answer any questions for you or help you give it a try. So let's move on now and talk about some of the misconceptions that I see people have when it comes to content that I think are holding you back and keeping you stuck. So let's start with a really big one that I hear all the time, that your content will be better if it's perfect. Do you have this thought that your content should be perfect? And I think this is where a lot of the temptation to use something like ChatGPT to write your posts for you or to copy and paste from someone else really comes into play. A lot of people doubt their own writing. They doubt their own value. They doubt their own style. They write something and they say, this doesn't sound good, this doesn't sound professional, and then you can go into ChatGPT and it will crank something out for you that frankly sounds great and sounds very professional. The problem with that is that why you're on social media? Is that why you're opening emails? Is that why you're listening to someone's podcast? Do you want a textbook? Do you want perfection? Because I personally don't. And we can make some arguments. It depends on what field you're in. It depends on, your specific business and who your ideal client is. We can, all those things, of course. But are you on social media to read a perfect post that has perfect grammar and all the information that you need and zero personality and just perfectly written? Because I'm not. That is boring to me. That's not what I want. And if I want that, I will probably pick up a textbook. I will probably get an actual book. I will go to like a .gov website, right? Like if people are looking for pure, perfect information, they're probably not looking for it in the places where you're posting your content, right? And again, you can disagree with me. I think it depends on your audience, but I think you really just want to ask yourself, like, am I focused on something that isn't even really what my goal should be? Because most people don't want perfection. They want real. They want you. They want your spin on it. They want the things that are relatable, that stick out to them and say, oh my gosh, that happened to me too. They want that funny little anecdote that made you say something's got to change, that connects with them. They don't want the textbook version. And that's what you can often get if you use something like ChatGPT to write the post for you, is that, yeah, it sounds great. It's, technically very correct and perfect, even maybe if you want to go that far, but it doesn't connect. It doesn't have heart. It doesn't have soul. It feels like it was written by a robot. And again, if people want that, they can go to a textbook. There's so many sources out there for that type of information. Hell, they can go to ChatGPT themselves and ask the question and get that information. So I think you want to really be asking yourself, what can I contribute? Like, how do I make this unique and valuable? And that's with your own perspective and your own experiences and your own stories. And a lot of times we doubt those things and we think people don't care, but really that's what grabs people, and that's what sets you apart, and that's what makes them want to follow you and want to learn from you instead of just a textbook, because it feels like it's a real person that they relate to and like, and they know that you're going to touch on the aspects of it that they will relate to. So remember that it's not about the perfection. It's about those little real experiences. Let me give you an example of this. I was just chatting with one of my squad members who does the accountability coaching add-on, and she was talking about some of her hair care products. And she has curly hair, and so do I. And I was sharing with her, she was talking about this serum. It's like does the same thing that a mask would, but it's a serum that you just put in overnight. And you don't have to like wrap up your hair. It's not a whole thing. And I was just saying to her, like, that sounds great to me, because I am someone who doesn't have a lot of free time right now, and trying to find a chunk of time where I can like wash my hair and then put a mask on it and then have it on top of my head and let it soak in and then go rinse it out and then style my hair. Like, that's just not my life right now. And I technically could make the time, but it's not where I want to be spending my time. And even before I had a toddler, when I had a lot more free time, I still didn't like making the time for that kind of stuff. So I was just sharing with her, like, that sounds great to me, because I don't have to do all of that, or I don't have to have it on my hair overnight, which is potentially going to get all over my pillow and make a big mess, or it's going to be a whole thing, and I'm going to be uncomfortable and not sleep as well. And she was just like, wow, I hadn't really thought of it in that way. And you know what else wouldn't have thought of it in that way? ChatGPT, because it doesn't have hair. Like it can only look at the certain side of it, but not the human experience side. And the human experience side, like if I were to see her make a post that says, I have this serum, it's great, here's the ingredients, here's why they're really good for your hair, I would say, cool, that sounds great. It wouldn't make me do anything. If instead she made a post and said, does anyone else love the idea of a hair mask but hate figuring out the logistics? Like, I don't want to sleep with something on my head. It's uncomfortable. I don't have time during the day. Like, it's just too hard to figure it out. This serum has been such a game changer. It does the same thing that a hair mask would, but I don't have to deal with any of that stuff. Now she has my attention, right? Because I relate to it because of that human side. It's a very relatable, real experience for me. So that's what I really want you to keep in mind, is that people don't want perfect. They want that kind of stuff. They want the real. That's what they're really going to connect with. And I want you to think back to people you have purchased from with online businesses. What grabbed you? Was it that they were perfect and every little detail was always right? And like, probably not. It was probably that it was something very relatable and human that made you want to follow and go on to become a customer from this person. So don't lose the humanness in the pursuit of perfection. Next thing, that you should try and be like the people that you see succeeding. And we really dove deep into this in last week's episode, so I'm not going to spend too much time here, but I think this is a really important one that a lot of people lose sight of. Especially, I totally get how it happens. You're trying, you're posting, you're doing the things, it's not working. And then you see other people posting in a different way, and it does appear to be working. So you're like, I should do that. I should be more like them. I should be more like the people that I see succeeding. And yes and no. I think, yes, we want to look at what seems to be working for other people and take inspiration from it, but we don't want to try and become them, because they already exist, right? They're already out there doing it that way. So if we're trying to just be like a Me Too is a term that I learned way back in grad school for the pharmaceutical industry. When a company innovates a new drug, a lot of other companies will change, like especially once the patent runs out, they'll create their own version of it, right? It's me too, we want to do this too, we want a piece of this pie. And the same thing happens with online businesses. Oh, I see that's working for them, I should go with that same angle. And if it's what you always wanted to do and seeing it work for them gives you like permission that you can do it this way too, that's great. I think that's a good thing. But if it's not what inspired you to start your business, if it's not what lights you up, if it's not the angle that you want to come from and why you like what it is that you sell, what it's done for you, but you're thinking you should do that because it's working for someone else, all you're going to do is water yourself down and wake up one day and say, who even am I? Like, what makes me unique? Who am I for? What am I doing here? You're just trying to be someone else, but you're never going to be as good at being someone else as they are. So I want you to just be you and remember that there's enough customers out there for everyone. There are people that want different things. And so just because we see someone else succeeding with one version of it doesn't mean that's the only version that can succeed. I was kind of thinking about this morning during my workout. I love working out at home. I do not want to go to the gym, like ever. I just don't. I prefer home workouts. But the gym industry is huge. There's a ton of people that love going to the gym. And ultimately, we want the same thing, right? We want to move our bodies. We want to exercise. We want to stay in shape. We want to feel good, right? All those benefits that I want and someone else wants, but I want them in a very different way. And even within that, let's look at people who like to go to the gym. Some people go to the gym and they love to do like group classes that are led by an instructor. Some people hate that and want to do their own thing. Some people are all about getting on a treadmill. Some people want to lift weights. Even within that, some people on the treadmill want to just walk at a steady state. Some people want to run at an angle and really push themselves. Some people, more like me, I do a lot of things. We have like a pretty extensive set of dumbbells between myself and my husband at this point at our house. And I'm trying to increase my weights, but my goal is not to like lift heavy. Some people it is. Some people are always pushing themselves and seeing how can I, grow the amount of weight that I'm lifting. That's not my style of exercise. So do you see how all of these are so different, but ultimately want the same thing? It's easy to think, oh, someone else is already doing, fitness. I shouldn't. That's crazy. There's so many different little nuances within that. And then even within that, let's say that we do have someone who wants the same style of workout. There's personality differences. Some people respond better to more of the like drill sergeant, like 10 more, let's see it, like that style of training. Some people respond more to a very chatty, peppy, like motivational, let's go team, we got this. Some people like someone in the middle who, isn't overly chatty. So, like each of these are separate businesses with separate ideal clients. So no matter what it is that you do, you can find your niche within your niche. Instead of trying to be like other people, finding where you really fit in and finding your people is going to be what really helps you. So yes, look at what other people are doing, but don't feel like you need to become them or that that's the only way that you can succeed. Next thing, that you should spend a lot of time perfecting an individual piece of content. This one might surprise you because you guys know I'm an overthinker, I'm a perfectionist, and I often talk about the importance of your content and putting effort into it. However, there's a line. I think that a lot of people get hung up on trying to make each piece of content perfect. And my thing has always been, it's way more about the cumulative, there we go, I always struggle to say that word, the effects of each post adding up over time. It compounds over time, right? It's not just that one post that you made. Every now and then there can be that one post that you made that does bring in a bunch of sales, or it's the tipping point. I'm not trying to act like that can't happen, but I want you to focus way more on the big picture. Overall, what are you posting? What are people seeing if they're following you over time? Not any one individual post, because first of all, who knows if they'll even see that one individual post, right? It's crazy. People are so busy. Algorithms are weirder than ever. Their inboxes are overflowing. Like, people are not seeing every single thing that you do. But also remembering that if you get way too hung up on each individual piece of content, you're probably spending way more of your limited time on your content than you should be, and then not doing the other things that it's going to take to grow your business. If you spend 2 hours on your post every day and that's all that you have, you're not going to see results because you're not growing your audience. Yes, that content matters, but what matters even more is who's seeing it. And if you're not intentionally focused on audience growth, I don't care how good your content is, you're going to hit a wall. You're going to get stuck. It's inevitable. It's not even, well, maybe I'll be the exception. No, you won't. You just won't. Like it's once you've worked through the people that are currently seeing your stuff, you're done. You're always needing to be focusing on audience growth and getting new eyeballs on your stuff. So I'm fine with you spending maybe a little more time than other people on your content, but not all of your time going to your content. You really need to be honest with yourself and evaluate this. And also ask yourself, like, okay, if I spend another hour obsessing over this post, is it really going to get that much better? Is it going to get maybe like 2% better? Is that worth an hour? Nope. It's good enough as it is. Get it posted. Spend some time on it. I'm not saying blow off your content or don't think about it, but there's a line where I think we spend way too much time on an individual piece of content and not enough time looking at the big picture. Next thing, you should worry about what people think of you or what they want in your content or their opinions. So this one, again, there's kind of two different ways of looking at this. Now, the first thing I want you to know is that when you have an audience of the right people, it is worth listening to their opinions within reason. And I have a whole episode on this, how to get feedback for your business that's actually useful. I do not know the episode number off the top of my head, but it's there. I'll try and throw it in the show notes for you. But it really dives into kind of the nuances and how to go about doing this if you are looking for some feedback and ideas from your audience. But you have to make sure, first of all, that the feedback is coming from the right people. If it's coming from your aunt or your high school friend or someone who's on your friends list but is not an ideal client, do not listen to them. People love to give their thoughts. I have had random people who don't have a business whatsoever message me telling me what I should change about what I'm doing. They don't know what they're talking about. And we need to not let that noise in and not let it make you change or second guess yourself. If your random cousin said, hey, your posts are really long, I don't have time to read all of that, that does not mean you should change everything that you're doing because your cousin said so. Is your cousin ever going to buy from you even if you change your posts? If they're not, then we should not be listening to their opinion. And a lot of times people mean well. They're not trying to sabotage you. I don't want you to think that like they have bad intentions. They don't know. They have no clue what they're talking about, but they think they do. For some reason, people love to give advice about online businesses and think that they're qualified to do so, but most of the time they are not. So stop worrying so much about what other people tell you. And especially, it's very hard to make everyone happy. Some people like longer posts. Some people like shorter posts. Some people like videos. Some people like reading. And I think what you really need to do is figure out, what do you like creating? What is the content that you like doing? Because there's an audience out there for it. There are people that will like your style. But when you're constantly, I think people do it the other way around. They're trying to put themselves into the box of the other people and trying to make them happy and do what they want. And then getting frustrated, especially if those people aren't buying. And you're like, but I changed everything for you. You're still not buying, please. And yeah, they're not, because you're not staying true to yourself and you're kind of going about this all the wrong way. So instead, what I want you to do is lean into what you like doing and understand you're not going to be for everyone. You'll never be for everyone. So instead, be for you. Do what you like doing, and the right people will follow you and love you for what you're doing. But you're never going to make everyone else happy. So stop worrying so much about what other people might think. Stop worrying that you're annoying them. They will just unfollow you. It's not a big deal. If someone unfollows you on Instagram, it's fine. It doesn't mean they hate you or anything personal. Maybe they just didn't want to see your content. I unfollow people all the time. You know what I mean? Like, actually this week, I haven't implemented a blanket rule that anyone who is already talking to me about Black Friday, I'm unsubscribing from. I think I've already unsubscribed from 3 email lists. I left a Facebook group. Like, it's just crazy, you guys. It is September 2nd. I don't want to hear about Black Friday yet. And it is what it is. I'm unsubscribing. But there's probably other people in their audience that are thrilled that they're talking about it already. And to be perfectly honest with you, none of these are people that I'm likely to buy from anyway. They're people whose lists I was on, people whose groups I was in, that I was exploring. But, like, you're probably not going to unsubscribe from someone that you love their content. Like, I think we get so worried about people unsubscribing or unfollowing when most of the time those people were never going to buy from you anyway. Is it possible that you do something that annoys people so much that they decide to leave when they were going to buy from you? It's possible. I'm not saying that it's not. But most of the time, that kind of stuff just is like the tipping point for people that already were not going to buy from you. So try not to worry too much about that. And just make yourself happy. Like I said, try and be for you, not for other people, because especially if you change and compromise for other people and they still don't buy, that's a really great way to build resentment for your business and for your audience. And resentment is a really dangerous place to be in your business. You don't want to feel resentful. So you need to stick with what you like doing, how you feel confident. There was just a post that I saw in a Facebook group from someone saying, hey, I'm brand new and I've been taking some programs, and it seems like some people say you should start with one-on-one clients and some people say you should start with digital products. Which one should I do? And I commented on her post. She didn't reply, so I don't know if she ever read my comment or not. I hope she did, because I put a lot of thought into it. But anyway, my take on this is that there's no one right or wrong. Like, what are you trying to help people with? What is your business about? Can you do that more effectively one-on-one or in a digital product? Like, it doesn't matter. I think a lot of times we're coming about this the wrong way. We're saying, well, okay, are long posts the thing? Do I need to do reels? Do I need to do that? Do I need to, we're trying to choose the format and then fit ourselves into that, when instead, what do you stand for? What do you want to help people with? What is your message? What is the result? What do you want to talk to them about? What is the best format to do that? That's what matters a lot more. Okay, and the last one, that you're bad at content or that you can't get better. So you might be bad at content right now. I won't lie to you. It's possible that you're not very good at content right now. Not everyone is. And I'm not ChatGPT who's going to tell you you're awesome no matter what. That is the one thing I will warn you about. I'm going to do an episode on just some of my thoughts on AI and little things like this. But ChatGPT is programmed to tell you that you're awesome and amazing and every idea is the best ever. So please remember that and don't get hung up. Like, it's nice. I like the validation. I think we all do. I'm not complaining about it. But you also have to remember that your idea might be really bad and ChatGPT is going to tell you it's great. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, this idea that you can't get better or that you're just inherently bad at content. So this, I think I did a whole episode on a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. So I would definitely recommend checking that one out if you're not familiar with these concepts. But in a nutshell, a fixed mindset is the belief that you're born with the skills, like all the skills you're ever going to have, and you're just naturally good at something, or you're not, and that's that. A growth mindset is the belief that you can grow your skills and get better at things. And a lot of people have different mindsets in different areas, but I have noticed content tends to be a really big one for a lot of people. I'm terrible at content. I'm not good at it. And what really blows my mind is when people have been saying this for a year or more, but their content is the main way they're trying to make sales. If you want to say, you know what, I don't think content is the strength of mine, and I would instead rather focus on selling in the DMs and really talking with people one-on-one, awesome, do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But what really is like one of my big pet peeves that I see over and over and over again is people who say, I don't want to message people. I don't want to be pushy. I want to put what I have out there in my content and let people who are interested go buy or approach me. Great. But then the next thing they say is, I'm terrible at content. Okay. What are you doing to improve it? Oh, nothing. I'm just bad at it. Okay. Do you see how this is not going to work? That's just, those ideas are not compatible. You might be bad at content right now. You're probably better than you're giving yourself credit for, but the truth is you might be bad at it right now, and that's okay. As long as you have the mindset of I can get better, and as long as you're actively working on improving your skills, are you learning about what makes good content? If you're not, what are you doing? You're just sitting here saying, I suck at this, I suck at this, I suck at this, it's not working, but you're not improving it. So you need to take the initiative and figure out, what do I feel like I'm not good at? Is it the writing part? Okay, then how can I learn to be a better writer? Let's find some resources that can help me with my writing, right? Like a lot of this, it's not so much, I don't want to make it sound like it's my pet peeve if you're not very good at content, if you're not instantly good at content. That's fine. It's more so the mindset of, I think I'm bad at this, but I'm also not doing a darn thing to try and improve it. That's where I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, what's our goal? So I want you to remember you can get better at content. My content now compared to when I first started is tremendously better because it came with a lot of practice. A really good example that I give that you've probably heard me say a lot of times is videos. I'm pretty good on camera at this point, and a lot of people have come to me and said, I'm just so awkward on camera. I wish I was natural like you. I am not a natural on camera. I was a deer in headlights, so stiff, didn't even sound like myself in my first few videos. I only became natural on camera because I went live probably 2,000 times. And I'm not even, like, that is not an exaggerated number. I tend to use exaggerated numbers because I don't know, I just think it's funny. It's my personality. This one is not. I wish Facebook could tell me how many videos I've done. I think it's got to be over 2,000, probably more than that. So if you go do 2,000 videos, do you think you're probably going to be a little bit better at being on camera? Yep. What it comes down to is, are you willing to put in the work, and are you willing to do something that you feel bad at so that you can get better? That's the hard part. That's the part that a lot of us struggle with, is like, well, I don't want to do that because I'm bad at it and it's not working, so I'm going to try it 3 times and then give up. The people who succeed are the people that keep going, keep doing the thing, even if they're bad at it, because their vision of where this can take them is worth it to them, and they're willing to do the hard things and the uncomfortable things. So you can get better at content, 100%. There are so many different ways that you can get better at content, but the question becomes, do you want to sit in your fixed mindset and throw yourself a pity party and be in the same place a year from now? Or do you want to do something about it? And do you want to work on it? And do you want to say, I'm not naturally good at this, but that's okay. I can get better. Those little mindset shifts make all the difference. And if you need help improving your content, I would love for you to check out my new, what did I call it? I think I called it the Prompt Buddy. I should probably have known this before I started talking about it, huh? I got really excited. I got so fixated on making it work properly rather than the name and that kind of thing. But anyway, I think it's Prompt to Post Buddy is what I called it, which I thought was pretty cute. And so if you need some help, it's kind of that perfect happy medium. It's not ChatGPT writing your post for you. It's what I was trying to emulate is as close as I could get to you having like a one-on-one session with me where I'm helping you with your content, where we say, okay, here's your post for today. So what do you want to do? And I help you brainstorm the ideas, and I give you suggestions for the structure. And then I look at it once you've written it and say, okay, that's good, except I don't think this is going to get a lot of engagement because let's tweak this. That's what it can do for you. So it's really that kind of in between of, I don't want to have ChatGPT write my posts, but I also feel stuck on my own and I'm not getting anywhere. This is going to be that perfect little in-between for you that's going to guide you. Take the prompts that I have written strategically using my years of experience and use them to adapt to your business, get that support, get your content out faster like we were talking about, right? Spending more time on a post does not mean it's better. It just means it took up more of your time and you didn't do other stuff with that time. So free up a little bit of your time. Take some of that overthinking off your plate, get you unstuck. If you've ever said, I have a prompt and I'm still stuck, this is what you need. Or if you have never really tried a prompt because you feel like they're not really going to be customized or suit your business, this is also what you need, because it's going to help you take that prompt and then really help you get ideas of how to make this specifically for your business. So I'm super excited about it, as you can tell. I hope this has given you lots to think about when it comes to your content and really more of the mindset side. This is not an episode of like, you should be writing XYZ or structuring or like post this, post that. Like, it's not that aspect of content. It's more of the mindset side of content that I see holding a lot of people back. But if you do want help on the actual, how do I write this? Grab my September content prompts and you'll get the Prompt to Post Buddy included with it. And I cannot wait to see what you start doing with it. So thank you for listening. I hope this helped, and I'll see you back here next week. I hope this episode inspires you to go take action on something you have been overthinking. As much as I wish you could, you cannot think your way to success. So promise me you're going to go take some action today. Head over to overthinkingentrepreneur.com to find all the cool stuff I've made for you over the years, like my free guide to getting more social media engagement and my Facebook group, Dynamite Entrepreneurs, which has a free course on social media basics.